don't need to patronize me.
You don't need to be condescending to me. So let me educate you about my position. You want to attack me? Let me finish. Let me finish.
Let's do this January 6th and then near.
I'm sorry you're getting emotional.
I'm sorry you're a condescending person who hasn't been paying attention to what I do.
Okay.
Stop that. People say, we should cut Elon Musk from the government totally. He rescued our astronauts today. Is that what we want? The treatment of this guy is outrageous. These people who are doing this need to be found. Give it a little lip service. Give it a little both sides. Go ahead.
So John, we're so both sides here. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to say that people are legitimately upset.
I always thought the left or the Democrats were supposed to be the party of empathy, the party of caring, and yet they're burning down cars, they're firebombing dealerships.
Hello, everybody. Guys, let's get right into this panel. Looks like Abby Phillip is out today. This is incredible. I don't think I've ever seen Scott Jennings freak out so badly. This is amazing. Check this out and we'll talk about it.
So tonight, Elon Musk is living through his version of Groundhog Day, a judge unwinding something his group did with no sign of spring on the horizon. This time, it's how fast and how much Musk's operators broke at USAID. This is the relevant ruling. Quote, the court finds that defendants' actions taken to shut down USAID on an accelerated basis, including its apparent decision to permanently close USAID headquarters without the approval of a duly appointed USAID officer, likely violated the United States Constitution in multiple ways. So people at USAID start going back to work, things start opening up again, but what? I mean, can you put the toothpaste back in the bottle here?
This is why I think it was so important. I've been saying this for several weeks now. We were talking about this on the break. You have to get Congress involved in this process. I think we have a blueprint for this. You go back to the 90s. One of your former bosses, Bill Clinton, worked with Republicans in the House to figure out a way to shrink the size of government. They let go almost 400,000 people over a duration of time via buyouts. There's a process that we can do this well. I think it will be a net positive to the president and a net positive to the Republican Party writ large by getting members of Congress involved and engaged in this process.
I did misspeak. Let me just list what they can and cannot do with USAID now. They cannot fire or put more employees on leave. They cannot terminate more contracts or grants. They can access but cannot share personal data kept by USAID. And the firings are not reversed, and the agency future is still very
getting
much
Congress involved, to my point, Congress can authorize these things. They can authorize those firings via buyouts. That's my point.
I think you make a good point about the way that they did it affecting the survivability of the thing that they did, but I'd like to make a separate point, which is that the way that they did it resulted in real people losing their lives unnecessarily all over the world. And, you know, when Elon Musk was asked about, you know, have people suffered or died due to your slash and burn style of cutting U.S. government, he said, no, nobody has died, and that turns out not to be true. There's a ton of reporting. I encourage everyone to read Nicholas Kristof's latest column in the New York Times, where he went to Africa and interviewed people who saw people die because all of a sudden they were getting vital medicine and food, and then one day they weren't because you know, some Doge employees cut off the funding to deliver the food from point A to point B. And we're not just talking about the odd people. We're talking about tens of thousands, soon to be hundreds of thousands, potentially millions of people who are going to die. And, you know, for just a second, we should put aside the politics and understand the humanity of that and the cruelty of that and the damage that that does to America's reputation and to the effort of humanitarian and medical work all over the world. And then we can come back to whether or not, well, you know, is this going to survive the judicial challenge or not? Because the damage is done. And the way that they did it is to break it in a way that it can't be replaced, even if the courts come in and save them. And there was a different way to go about it where, okay, we cut the condoms to Gaza, but we keep the HIV funding, okay? And they didn't do that. And so this is a real world example of real people suffering because of the ignorance and cruelty of the way that the Doge team has gone about it. It's inexcusable. And so I just think that we should keep that in mind.
It's also an example of...
And remember, guys, when I just heard that spiel there, he's speaking about empathy. The study has been done already, according to him, or with the reporting that's being done, that people are already losing their lives, millions of people possibly. So think about the word empathy here. The richest man in the world is the guy doing this, running around with a chainsaw, right? Giggling about firing everyday working people's jobs.
Of how, if you act fast enough, you know, you can beat the judges here, and they accomplished what they wanted to accomplish.
Right, but just to connect this, I mean, I think we all agree that if, you know, the actual way to do this isn't a bipartisan effort or even just a congressional effort, that's the whole issue here, which is they just took Congress's role and threw it out the window by saying, we're going to close down an agency that Congress passed. Congress made the USAID. There's all this discussion, but it's effectively been legislated. And so I think this is the whole harm. When you have one random billionaire making decisions who has no experience with government, a lot of people are going to get harmed. And there are people in Africa getting harmed, but we know there are veterans in America also getting harmed, losing their jobs, and also services for veterans are getting cut. And that's why I think you see a lot of protests and discussions, not just by Democrats and independents, but also Republicans at Republican town halls.
There's also, on the subject of Elon Musk, there's been all kinds of vandalism against Teslas and Tesla dealerships all over the country. You know, Las Vegas, Kansas City, Encinitas, Buffalo Grove, Littleton, Mass. I grew up right next to Littleton, Mass. Loveland, Colorado, Tigard, Oregon, all over the place. Musk was asked about all of this on television tonight. Listen to what he said.
I always thought the left, or the Democrats, were supposed to be the party of empathy, the party of caring, and yet they're burning down cars, they're firebombing dealerships, they're firing bullets into dealerships. I think we just have a deranged, there's some kind of mental illness thing going on here. I think there are larger forces at work as well. I mean, I don't know who's funding it and who's coordinating it, because this is crazy.
Actually, I'm sure he's got lots of evidence for that.
Unbelievable. I mean, he's a Republican. Of course, they don't have evidence. Unbelievable, guys. Let's have a bit of empathy for the richest man in the world. I'll say it again. A bit of empathy for the richest man in the world. Not the people that he was running around giggling like a buffoon with a chainsaw, so glad that he's cutting everyday people's jobs and services so that he can pocket that money, so that he could get his tax breaks, so that he can get regulations and auditors not looking into him while he exploits American people. Let's get all on our knees and pray to the richest man in the world. And how fortunate we should be and rejoice. Where would we be without all the tax evasion, guys? Where would we be if Elon Musk paid his fair share of taxes? We don't want that. He's our sweet summer child. Let's count our blessings while we still have him. This attention-seeking loser. I'm sorry, no empathy. I have zero empathy for Nazi, racist, billionaire, greedy bastards.
Look, I will be consistent on this. I don't think vandalism, I don't think violence is what you do to make your point. I've said that around January 6th. I've said it around protests, and I'll say it here. Do I agree what Elon Musk is doing with Doge? No. But what I would encourage people, and I don't even know if the folks who are doing the vandalism are actual Democrats or Republicans, but they're people who want to destroy our democracy as well. This is what I will tell folks. In moments like this, if you are so enraged that you want to act on something, you have a representative, you have a senator in Congress that doesn't have to be there any longer. You should go tell them that you are disgusted, to Shermichael's point, that you don't like that they are not taking their congressional responsibility to heart and challenging the president and say, let us pass this law, let us repeal back this funding. But taking it with vandalism, don't agree with it, don't associate it with it. It shouldn't be a part of the Democratic brand. It shouldn't be part of the Republican brand. It's not an American brand.
So doubtful it's Republicans attacking Tesla dealerships around the country. It's pretty wild, actually.
Really? Because those town halls were Republicans closing down those town halls. And they seemed pissed. Are you sure they're not Republicans? You do know Republicans take Social Security and Medicaid, right? And Elon Musk calling those entitlements and Ponzi schemes, which he clearly has his eyes set on that next.
The other night, Donald Trump said these are domestic terrorists. Everybody laughed about it and scoffed at it. That video looks like terrorism to me. I mean, it's obviously an organized, coordinated effort, however people are communicating with each other, to do this to people around the country who chose to buy a Tesla at some point in the past, many of whom I'm sure are Democrats who bought them in the first place, all because their entire political worldview is ruled by their emotions. And that's the American left right now. It is one angry mob after another willing to take things into their own hands, up to and including keying, firebombing, and otherwise vandalizing cars and car dealerships and charging stations. It's outrageous. It is terrorism. People ought to be put in jail and left there for a very long time and be taught a lesson.
So when they do it to a Tesla dealership, it's really bad. But when they do it to the halls of Congress, we should pardon them. Is that your position?
No, I've never. I don't
Are you
support.
okay with the
I know you. I know
January
you have.
6th
I know you haven't been around for a while. So let me educate you about my position about January the 6th.
I'm so sorry.
Let me
I'm
educate.
so sorry.
Let me educate you.
You don't need to
No, you don't need to.
patronize
You don't. You don't.
I'm
And
just
you don't need to be
saying-
condescending to
I'm
me.
not
So let me
condescending.
educate you about my position. You want to attack me? Let me
I'm just
finish.
asking
Let me
you-
finish.
I'm just
Guys,
asking you
let
a
me
question.
finish.
Let's do this January
I'm
6th
just asking
and
you
then
a
near it.
question. I'm sorry you're getting emotional.
Yeah, I'm sorry you're a condescending person who hasn't been paying attention to what I do.
Okay.
Stop, guys.
So here's the issue. I didn't support what happened on January the 6th and was one of the first Republicans to call it out. I don't support the pardons. I have repeatedly, just like my friend Ashley here, said that no violence in our political system is acceptable. But this right here, what's going on with a guy who helps our country, who runs successful companies, who doesn't have to be doing this, and now one of his companies is under systematic terroristic threat and violence all over the country, and people seem to be laughing about it or fine with it, it's outrageous. I've sat at this table and had people say, we should cut Elon Musk from the government totally. He rescued our astronauts today. Is that what we want? The treatment of this guy is outrageous. These people who are doing this need to be found, put in jail, and made an example of. That's my point.
Anyone.
He absolutely lost his mind. This is why I like these panels, guys. You sometimes lose control in the heat of the moment. I've never seen him act like that. He like scared the crap out of her. Guys, this is a symptom of the cult. He's defending, this is how animated he gets, defending the richest man in the world. You can't talk bad about their precious, strong alpha male, Elon Musk. I mean, who else would get the scary monster from under your bed, right, Scott? So pathetic. Imagine if Scott had that passion and that rage for defending everyday working people who are getting their jobs slashed. People of color who are constantly being demonized by Republicans. Women, gay people, trans people. This is amazing. He's defending, guys, the richest man in the world. We need sympathy. And Elon Musk is on Fox asking for empathy. I thought we were supposed to be the party of empathy. Are you effing kidding me? These people are asking for empathy. Elon Musk, the Nazi salute guy, who did it now once, twice, and joked about it afterwards instead of apologizing if it was a mistake. I mean, this is what I mean. Snowflakes. Republicans are so soft. They're so weak and scared about everything.
Who commits violence against Tesla or Congress or anyone else should be put in jail, 1,000%. But that should not stifle dissent or opposition from Elon Musk.
Give it a little lip service. Give it a little both sides. Go ahead.
We're so both sides here. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to say that people are legitimately upset. They are legitimately upset at Elon Musk, and they're doing it on their own, but there is no reason to have violence in the country. But I just wish all of us would support criticism of, or would support punishing people who are violent wherever they are.
For what I
And not
understand, the
letting them
Teslas
out
will
of jail.
fall apart if you just leave them alone anyway. Yeah. There's nothing really anybody really needs to do about it. Just drive them enough. Eventually, the things will start to just like
I do
fall off the
think
side. From what I've read, allegedly.
one thing that would, and I don't actually think anybody was both siding this, is I think one of the ways to actually move past this is not to be, I don't know who these people are. I don't associate with them as Democrats. They're wrong. I don't know who the January 6 people were. You don't associate with them as Republicans. They're wrong. And that is the fact. That is it. Right is right, is wrong. And I think when we try to over-politicize things, that's when tensions get high. And that's where we are in this country. Both sides feel unseen, unheard, and they're taking violence to express themselves. And that's not what we should be about.
All right, we're going to end this segment on.
Guys, I'm obviously going to end it there. But let me give you a little spiel here. I don't agree with violence either. I agree with defending yourself, sure. But violence, no. But maybe, just maybe, you shouldn't have been running around the stage swinging a chainsaw like a buffoon. Just completely elated that you were cutting people's jobs. Maybe you should not have done the Nazi salute once like a moron. Twice for that matter. And just would not apologize. Refuse to apologize. He jokes about it. Maybe you shouldn't be running around with your baby daddy Trump getting rid of pictures of black and brown people, of women, or people you've deemed DEI hires. Like the disgusting bigot that you are. Maybe you shouldn't be calling everyday Americans idiots. And said that's why you need Indian foreign workers for your companies, because Americans are just too dumb. When really you're just trying to exploit. You're just trying to pay the employees less than you would have to an American worker. Maybe you shouldn't be talking about Social Security as a Ponzi scheme, as an entitlement. Again, the richest effing man in the world. Getting rid of the Department of Education. And now you want empathy for us. And I think it's poetic justice. All this stuff is done so that billionaire asshole and all their goofy friends can get richer and richer. And his stock price is almost down by half or something like that, 30-something%. This is amazing. Your greed and narcissism, Elon, has got you in this position. No empathy for me. F that. I could care less what happens with your stupid little dealerships. But I'm going to leave it there, guys. Let me know what you think about all this in the comments. This was amazing. Jennings completely lost his mind. I couldn't believe it. But please subscribe if you're not. Please comment. I try to read just about all of them. And I'll catch you in the next one.